This is one that I missed out on initially, but I want to talk to you guys about it right now. Wolfeye Studios, an indie team comprised of ex-Arkane Studios veterans, are back with a brand new IP, a first-person action RPG that is heavily inspired by the likes of Fallout and Dishonored. Hey guys, thank you so much for clicking on this video, and if you do find it informative, valuable, or entertaining, or engaging in any way, please do consider leaving a like on the video, and by all means, subscribe to the channel because this is a game I'm going to be talking about for a long time yet. And also, leave a comment down below with your own thoughts on what you think this game is going to end up looking like, what you think it's going to end up being, and with that, let's do this. To say that this game has me incredibly excited would be an understatement, especially when you look at the talent involved with this studio. For those unfamiliar with Wolfeye, they were founded by Raphael Colantonio, the original founder and now former CEO of Arkane Studios, as well as Julien, Roby, a former executive producer at Arkane. In addition to these two, Christophe Carrier, one of the lead level designers on Dishonored 2, left Arkane and became part of Wolfeye as well. The knowledge of the industry and the development know-how is all there with this team, and after their debut title, Weird West, launched in 2022 to generally positive reception, I still need to finish this damn game. Wolfeye are now ready to expand their horizons and deliver a truly unique immersive sim experience, blended with traditional RPG systems. In an article published by Rock Paper Shotgun at the time of the game's initial tease, Raphael went into very brief detail on some of the things we can expect from this exciting new game. The structure is very freeform, and you can explore whatever you want, Colantonio tells me over video call, but the mobility and the type of gameplay is very reminiscent of games that we've worked on in the past, like Prey or Dishonored. So you have this blend between an RPG, like an open experience, where you can go wherever you want and level up, and there's branching, etc., but at the same time, the physicality and the types of gadgets and powers that you've seen in games from Arkane before. So if you look at the continuum from Dishonored to Prey, and then we imagine how would it be if it was even more open than that, even more RPG than Prey. Back in August of last year is when the Wolfeye social media account teased the first glimpse at this new universe they are crafting, set in an alternate 1900s American West, with a not quite steampunk art direction and style that is directly evocative of the game's inspirations in the Fallout and Dishonored franchises. It's a world where you can recognize the scenery, but then the types of technology are futuristic, even though in a style of fabrication that would have made sense in the 1900s, Colantonio says. That's why you have this really unique look. It's not really steampunk, but some people will say it's steampunk, and part of the story is that at some point you will realize why this alternate timeline was created. The game is also seemingly combining the open-ended sandbox gameplay and toolset from Dishonored with the dialogue trees and choice and consequence of a major RPG like Fallout. Raphael Colantonio even briefly described an awesome-sounding gadget you could use in gameplay. We have this thing that is a magnetic rope, so it sticks to any metal in a very systemic way, Colantonio says. If there is any metal in the scene, like a bin or anything, it sticks to it and spawns a rope you can use to climb, for example. You'll also get abilities that appear more supernatural in nature, such as one that lets you set a point that allows you to escape from the middle of combat later. That one in particular sounds a lot like Billy Lurk's ability in Death of the Outsider, which I believe is called Displace. I could be wrong about that. It's been a while since I played the game, guys. Give me a break. Also, this magnetic rope thing reminds me a lot of the rope arrow from the Thief games from back in the day, as well as it kind of reminds me of the sticky bomb charges in Deus Ex that were they had polygons attached to them, so you could stick them to the wall, and as JC Denton, you could climb up on these tiny little outcroppings on the wall from these little sticky charges. It's actually insane that people found out you could do that. That's one of the original immersive sim mechanics that just blew people's minds back in the day. In general, Colantonio goes on, the game is about going deeper into the space of possibilities offered by his and Roby's previous projects at Arkane, while stirring in concepts and approaches from traditional role players. If you think about our games, I think they have, one, interesting worlds to explore that are very, I don't know if realistic is the word, but even though they are not real, they are grounded. There's full coherence and lore that players will enjoy discovering. And the other aspect is play your way. There's a very sandboxy aspect to it where you can customize your playstyle and the game responds to it, as well as branching the story. If you did some things, there are consequences now and then. There are multiple ways to do things. So we are doing this again, but I think putting this in an RPG structure gives even more possibilities. It's a little more free in a way, and that's new for us, and I think our players will enjoy it, because our games have always been adjacent to RPGs, but this time we're going real RPG. So dialogue trees, level ups, and stats, and other things that you can grow. Colantonio seems especially enthused about the addition of proper branching dialogue, noting that this is relatively unexplored territory for Wolfeye. If you have a high enough speech skill, or if you've done something specific, you can tell something to someone to access new options and possibilities. So character stats, leveling up, all of the tried and true trappings of what you would expect from a traditional RPG experience are all going to be here. And it marks a very different turn from what somebody would consider a traditional immersive sim. Now, I think that adding these RPG mechanics are gonna really do a lot to help make this game stand out from not just other games in the indie and AA space, but from a lot of Arkane's prior work. However, this does not mean that the game will be overscoped or over-budgeted in order to make a massive open world. Arkane, and by extension the Wolfeye team, have always been good at making sure the size and scale of their projects is never too overblown and is just the right fit for what they do best. Quality over quantity, and Raphael says as much. All of this comes with the caveat that Wolfeye aren't trying to make anything nearly as sprawling as an Elder Scrolls game. The scope, the size, historically, we've always created games that are more dense, higher density, and less about size, Colantonio says. So that is something we always favor. More possibilities and more detail, more craft, over endless repetitive dungeons. We're not going for that. It's going to be more of a crafted world. It will land somewhere between Fallout, Prey, and Dishonored if you wanted to try to pinpoint it. The game's world won't have any discrete exploration, combat, or town areas. It'll be a steadily unrolling sandbox that supports a multitude of methods, nice and nasty. Unlike Weird West, it won't have any loading transitions between areas. Definitely don't call it an open world though. It's not like Weird West, it's more of an evolution of Prey if we were to look at the game structure, Colantonio notes. Prey, technically it would be considered continuous. Some people would say, no, it's an open world. The reason we don't want to say open world is that it comes with expectations that it's going to be gigantic. You know, it takes 6 months to ride a horse from A to B, which is not at all what we do. But technically, it's an open world in the sense that it's so continuous, you can go anywhere, there's no loading, etc. Now, all of this sounds great to me personally, but Wolfeye have actually gone a further extra mile by bringing in and hiring some of the laid-off Arkane Austin team when Microsoft tragically and unfortunately decided to shut that studio down in May of last year. Wolfeye have long traded on their Arkane associations for publicity, but in the wake of Microsoft's reductions, they increasingly resemble an Arkane rescue mission, clawing back that legacy of immersive sim design from Bethesda and Microsoft. According to Roby, the studio has essentially doubled in size since the release of Weird West, and they've hired a lot of former former colleagues from Arkane Lyon and Austin, these being people who know already the value of the kind of game we're doing from a design standpoint and from a pure experience standpoint. Wolfeye has become the alt Arkane, suggests Colantonio in closing. I think it's the spirit of Arkane for sure, but Wolfeye is its own company. We do have so many people from Arkane at this point that it does feel like being at Arkane prior to being acquired. So yes, it's an unleashed Arkane. It's a free Arkane. Raphael, Julien, and the team at Wolfeye, now freed from direct publisher intervention, seem to be making a true-to-form immersive sim in all of the best ways, while also trying to implement new and innovative design by incorporating classic RPG elements into the mix. The final result is sure to be something truly special, and Wolfeye are actually going to be holding a private alpha test sometime this year in order to allow gamers to assist in the development process by providing crucial feedback on just about every aspect of the game. I signed up for this alpha initially when this project was first teased, and I believe you can still sign up for it, but I don't know how much longer that's going to be running for. So if you want to try to play test this game and provide feedback, I would act now before it's too late. This game already sounds incredibly interesting, and I just wanted to share some nuggets of information about it that maybe you haven't heard about or haven't been expressed to you. Now it's your turn. I want you guys to comment down below with your own thoughts on this exciting new IP from the former Arkane Studios vets at Wolfeye. And let's just start talking about it. Let's start a discussion, start speculating on what this could end up looking like and what it might end up being. I really appreciate all of you choosing to watch this video over the multitude of other videos you could be watching right now. And if you did enjoy it, I invite you now to please leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel as well, because there's going to be a lot more interesting discussions about this game, other Arkane Studios games, and just a lot of gaming related discussions in general are going to be happening here in the future, so I really appreciate it. Also, do make sure to hit the bell icon so you can keep up with everything that's going on here on the channel, and you'll always be notified when a new video or piece of content drops. One last thing, I've also got a Discord server for this amazing community that we have. There's going to be a link to that in the description down below, so if you are keen to join us in all of this in-depth discussion, talks about the lore, the world building of games like Dishonored, Prey, Fallout, etc., definitely consider joining us there as well, because it's a great place to be, and we welcome anyone and everyone who loves Arkane Studios, Bethesda, just games in general. And remember that the outsider walks among us. I'll see y'all next time.